17th of July, Monday, 25 minutes to midday in Australia. Here's my latest video blog. I've got a few things to share with you today, just a couple of snippets. I did a video not long ago about just a couple of gold nuggets that I picked up out of some groups, and I've got a couple more. And I'm just going to cover an article that was released overnight. It's the 17th of July. This was yesterday on a Sunday on CoinDesk, and just in regards to the market and how much of a bit of a slump it's had in a very, very fast time, and just want to talk a little bit about what all that means very quickly. But I'm going to use some special effects here and just bring up a couple of things. So the first thing I wanted to cover was I was in the EOS Telegram group the other day, and Daniel Larimer, who's responsible for creation of Steem, heavily responsible with Bitshares with his father Stan Larimer, so has a lot of background in regards to the blockchain technology, dApps, graphene-based technology, and how, creating these platforms that are highly efficient, highly fully scalable, very, very fast and efficient. Now he's onto the EOS project, which is very similar to Ethereum in the sense that it's about creating an opportunity for developers to come in and create dApps, decentralized applications, on a very, very, very fast platform, in a simple terms. But there's a white paper on the website. You can go and read it. It's quite complex. Some of it goes over my head, but it looks all very good. And they're right in the middle of this massive ICO. Now, what I like about the Larimer family, I don't know them. I will say that I don't know them. I just get little snippets and good feeling about their direction, and it's the language that they use. They do talk about decentralization, but I actually do believe that they mean it. I think when you look at Ethereum and some of these other blockchains that are out there, there is no doubt that some of them are centralized, and there's either backdoors into the technology, or there's a lot of pre-mined coins, meaning that a select few have a lot of the coins and a lot of influence. There's no doubt that some of these coins have the ability to present something valuable to society, but I feel like that there's the people behind it may not necessarily have the best intentions, and I'm being not skeptical, I'm just being cautious about this entire sector. And there has been a little bit of discussion on some of my YouTube in some of the comments about how this entire cryptocurrency space is a bit of a deception, and it was all put together by the CIA and the big boys in order to move us away from the cash and to control society in everything we do, so they can pin us down and maintain that distance between the elite, middle class and the lower class. And it wouldn't surprise me. And I would actually say that I think there's a lot of element of truth in it. What's going to happen is that when you're in a position of power and you want to maintain it, you'll do whatever you can to try to keep it. That's what these sickos, it's the only word I've got for it, really want to do. And they've been, they just don't like the idea that they may lose the empire. And it's the only way they got to the top was pretty much through a manipulation of good human nature, and that especially through the monetary system. They tax us to hell. There's costs, and especially if you live in Australia and some of these other westernised countries, you're paying so much money out of your hard-earned wealth just to get by, and you never really get forward. And what I mean by that, when never get forward, I've got everything I need, but I want to create, I want to innovate, I want to do things on my own terms, I want to travel, I want to share. Unfortunately, you need a lot of money. Now, the system's designed to make sure that you don't have easy access to that. And that, some people will talk about, you got to work hard and get to the top. It's like, well, I don't really want to have to work hard for 40 to 50 years to be able to do what I really want to do in my youth, when I'm all, a lot of enthusiasm and I'm at the height of my life. What I do believe is that we need to be able to create a greater opportunity for people with great minds to be able to come forward and innovate through this world. And at the moment, the powers to be and the government structure that we've got is not going to allow it. So getting back to this Daniel Larimer, I took a screenshot of a little moment in time where he was talking to someone in regards to how much money do they need and etc, etc. And Daniel Larimer said, even with $1 billion, realising my vision will be challenging. And there's a couple of others. The elite of this world spend trillions or more, which is true. It's just an endless war. $1 billion spent to create more freedom will produce $1 trillion in compounding effects. Now, I mean, the whole concept about EOS is about decentralising everything, and what I would be hopeful for, and I have mentioned this in a couple of videos previously, is that we have got the ability to remove power or illegitimate power from influences in our life. Now, one of that can be, look, I'm not a big supporter of government structure. I don't work for government. I don't have any government welfare. I don't rely on government. I don't utilise pretty much anything. I don't have children, so I don't use the schooling system. I don't get sick, so I don't use the corrupted health system. There's a whole heap of things that I just don't sit well with me in regards to this power structure. I mean, I don't need a leader. I lead my own life. I make my own decisions. I don't need someone to create so much of this negative influence through society. And that's all we do is complain about politicians. How come we don't do anything about it? All we do is vote the next idiot in, and they do exactly the same thing. And I think, you know, we've done that. It's time to move on, and that's why I think EOS and anyone that can actually get this together has got. If we can get enough money aside and enough of the innovation and the creative minds together, what we can do is actually have a decentralised administration, and I'm hoping that that's the direction that the Larimers are actually moving towards. You know, and if we can remove our dependency on government, guess what? They won't have a job. We don't need them. We stop voting for them. What we do is we start voting for decentralised applications, which means that these government departments and things like that will start becoming obsolete. Sure, there may be some issues with jobs, and I can see a whole heap of things happening, but I'd rather we move towards this than the current system, because the current system doesn't work, in my mind. So, Dan Larimer is saying some good things. Next thing. Decentralisation, privacy coins, you know, being your own bank, I think is a great concept. Now, in this whole crypto space, there's a series of coins that offer privacy, and I think it's very, very important. And I don't really like the banking structure. You know, they do charge you a lot of fees. They even question, and they make it hard for you to even have access to your own money at times. And I think the fiat currency monetary system is on its way out. However, I'm a big ambassador on gold, silver, and a form of cash or fungible transfer of trade of some sort. I'm not a big fan of digital only. I do not think that is going to be a positive in the future, only because I don't trust our government structure, and I don't trust these elitists. I don't even like using the word elitists, because they're not elite. They're just old men with lots of money who don't really have the best interests of humanity in mind. Otherwise, they would have already moved away from oil, and that would have free energy. We know all of this, but again, we do nothing, because all we do is the basics, and we're so distracted by the 9 to 5 that we don't even seem to have the emotional energy to get up and speak up. But I'm hoping that will change at some stage. But another little glimpse, I was in the Verge group, and someone was talking about eventually governments will start clamping down on crypto. When that happens, cue Verge. The whole privacy coin will boom if the government tries that. So what they're saying is, you know, regulations and trying to track your money, and I don't think it's anyone's business what you do with your own money, whether that's your taxable income or your savings or your holiday funds or, you know, the trade. I think it's all a scam, and they talk about, you know, a minority of people who are, you know, what is it? What's the word when you're moving funds illegitimately? Laundering. So laundering money. You know, I think the biggest launderers of money would have to be the bankers, would have to be obviously government. You know, they take all our wealth, and what do? They go and buy bombers and big ships, and, you know, spend $50 billion worth, 50 whatever the amount of money is on the military. It's just ridiculous, and they spend so much money on fear and all of this stuff, and we know it's there. A lot of people don't, a lot of the youth don't realise that that's the case, and unfortunately they got to wait their turn to go through the next 20 years until they decide to actually wake up. Some people never wake up. But getting back onto this, I think there's a major opportunity for privacy coins as such, where you can actually hold your funds or a value of funds off-site, on an off-site wallet, and you can control those funds as you deem fit. And I think that's going to be something that's going to be very important in the future, especially with decentralisation. And you know, the communities based around these particular applications are actually getting bigger and bigger. You go and have a look at Verge and you know, Moneros and these type of things. There's a lot of positive talk about what they're doing. But you know, we're a few years away from all of this materialising. However, it's an option now, and it's very, very readily available. So privacy is very, very important. In talking about Verge, I just went to their website, and they've updated their website because they've got a massive community-based following, which is awesome. And I'm just going to open this up. Now on this page, I think it's under contest, it goes for another 4 days, at the time of this video, 4 days, 9 hours. You can actually, anyone that's pretty savvy with making some GIFs, you can go on here, and I'm sure you can make your own. They're having a GIF competition. You can go and make a GIF in regards to Verge, and you just got to tag it with a few things. What is it? And then put it onto Twitter and retweet it, or retweet. And the top 5 users will win some coins. So they've got quite a few coins up for grabs and a couple of t-shirts with 4 days to go. So if that's something you're interested in doing, I am actually invested in Verge, so it all helps my end agenda, but I mean, it's something you may want to go and have a look at. Come and have a look at their website. They have updated it with a very big roadmap. The contributors, let's go to the main page here. And this is all very fresh. They've even got the clock on here, go down the bottom. So they've got the, they've slightly updated this. We can go through and cycle through all the different people who are contributing to the project, which I think is a good thing. It's good to see who's actually behind it, because it's such a decentralized, community-based, open source project. You can see that it's growing forward. And there's a very, very good roadmap in the sense of providing diverse applications for people all around the world, regardless of where you are and what type of applications that you're interested in things like wallets and those type of things. And they are looking at implementing smart contracts at the end of July, probably more into August at this stage, with all of this stuff going on with Bitcoin. But that's all I want to share with Verge. Next thing was, I'm going to minimize this. Here we go. So in the last 24 hours, so yesterday I talked about Sunday sort of plateauing a little bit, but then we just saw, pretty much as soon as I uploaded my video, within a couple of hours Bitcoin dropped $100 or $200 and I think it got down to about 1800, 1850 or something like that. And it's sort of gone sideways since, because it does seem to show a lot of resistance and a lot of support. Bitcoin these days, a little bit more money in it, and a little bit more trust and faith. But I went to the CoinDesk, and cryptocurrency market near a 50% decline from all-time high. It pretty much dumped $10 billion in 24 hours on Sunday. Its high was about 115 billion, and it had a couple of ups and downs over about a month, where it would drop down to 90, back up to 100 and something, and back under the 100. And what we've seen in the last 20 days is it's just pushed through those little resistance points at 90 billion, and it fell down to about $61 billion. But again, it climbs up pretty quickly. Now I'm just going to type in coin market cap. Just have a quick squiz. Search engine. Go to tools. So if you're interested in seeing this, go to global charts. So coin market cap, go to tools, and you can see these capitalization charts, which are quite useful. So you can see all the craziness at this end with March and July. But up the top, it's got the market cap. So market cap has actually bounced back about $8 billion since the article yesterday was written. So, crazy money is going in and out. It's just sloshing. A bit like what the Wedbot spoke about. It's just a sloshing of money, and if you look at the capitalisation, that's what's actually happening. So we've had all-time highs and we've had all-time lows since the all-time high, and it's just moving around all over the place. So where it's going to go from here, I'm not sure. 50%, we could see another 10%. Fibonacci, you could say that. All-time high down to 61.8 type of drop. I'm hoping it sort of recovers. I'm a little bit over it now. I'd like to see it sort of surge on to the next stage, but you never know. It might actually just plateau and it may never recover, and the whole cryptocurrency space just dies a horrible death, but I don't think that's going to happen. The technology's here to stay, and that's for sure. But the article wasn't very long. It was just talking about, that I think we're looking at you could call it a correction if you like, and it is a correction when you have such an insurgence of capital. At the beginning of March, it was 25 billion, and then all of a sudden it's 115 billion. It's only one way it's going to go, and that's down for a certain period of time, and then it will sort of sort itself out, and you may find a new level. But considering the interest and I suppose the excitement around cryptocurrency, for a lot of people haven't even entered the space yet from a mainstream point of view, and I think what we're going to see is one or two more of these type of events in the next 12 months. I would suspect at least one crazy moment, and you may find 2 or 3 months of growth first before the next injection. And if there is a big injection, you may find that could be mid-year 2018 or something like that. If it hits in September, October, November this year, then that's great. I'm not going to complain, that's for sure. But just keeping my eye on this whole crypto space. It is very volatile. So if you are looking at getting in, you've got to be very, very prepared to not necessarily lose your money, but you're going to probably lose some hair watching this entire market go up and down, and you can, depending on how diversified your portfolio is, it can be a bit nerve-wracking. So the only way you can play this game is you can play short and just take your little pockets of profit, and there is great opportunities to make 15, 20, 30% in pretty much a day sometimes, especially when you have these downs, because it bounces back almost just as hard. And if you happen to be one of those types of people in front of their computer who wants to set these sell orders and buy orders and take the profit and then go for it. For me, I'm just dealing with the nervousness of the whole thing, and I've got dates in the next 2 years that I'm looking forward to, and looking back at this moment, and then I'll hopefully have capitalised. Sure, I can make some money along the way, but at this stage, and I have improved my position at times when I'm feeling a bit bored. I might do some trades, but really I've got other things to do in my life, and what I'm looking at is just accumulating, buying on the downs. So down, you'd have to say it's a bit of a down now. Will it go any further? Highly likely, but if you're accumulating on the way down, then that's probably a lot better than accumulating on the way up. Very simple trading game there. So that's all I have. A little bit of a ramble for a Monday. Hope that adds a little bit of value to your perspectives. Keep accumulating. Do what you need to do for you. Just remember, none of this is investment advice. It's all about you showing due diligence and doing what you need to do for you. But have a great day, and tune in to my next video.